Have you ever noticed something strange? You can listen to a normal song and feel absolutely nothing. But then a funk track starts playing, and suddenly your posture changes, your walk changes, your confidence changes. The same person, the same body, the same life. Yet for a few minutes, you feel like someone else entirely. More focused, more dangerous, more powerful. The question is, why? Why does a genre built on distorted bass, dark melodies, and aggressive rhythms have such a powerful effect on the human mind? And more importantly, what is it doing to your psychology? Because what you're about to learn has almost nothing to do with music. It has everything to do with how your brain responds to power. Welcome to Mental Abyss. Let's begin. Most people think funk creates confidence. It doesn't. Confidence already exists inside you. Funk simply removes the noise that normally suppresses it. Think about your daily life. Notifications, opinions, stress, expectations, fear of judgment. Your mind spends most of its time reacting to people, reacting to problems, reacting to pressure. But funk does something unusual. The heavy bass and repetitive rhythm reduce mental clutter. Your brain stops jumping between distractions and starts locking onto a single emotional state: control. This is why many people report feeling calmer while listening to aggressive funk. Which sounds impossible. Aggressive music should create chaos, yet often it creates focus. Why? Because the brain loves predictability, and funk is built around repetitive patterns. The rhythm becomes a psychological anchor, a stable structure in a world filled with noise. For a few minutes, everything feels simple. Move forward, ignore distractions, stay focused, and the brain loves that feeling. But this is only the beginning. The real effect comes from something deeper, something evolutionary. For thousands of years, survival depended on emotional control. When danger appeared, the worst thing a human could do was panic. Panic killed. Hesitation killed. Fear killed. The people who survived were often the people who could remain calm under pressure. Now here's where funk becomes interesting. Many funk tracks create a feeling psychologists call perceived dominance. Not actual dominance. Perceived dominance. Your brain begins interpreting the music as a signal of control. The deep bass, the slow confidence, the dark atmosphere. All of it tells the nervous system one thing: you are not the prey. And when the brain stops feeling like prey, behavior changes. Eye contact becomes easier. Movement becomes slower. Speech becomes more deliberate. Confidence increases. Not because reality changed, because your internal state changed. And your internal state controls everything. This is why someone can walk into a gym listening to funk and suddenly perform better. The weights didn't become lighter. Their mindset became stronger. Now let's talk about something darker, the shadow effect. Every human being has two sides: the version they show the world and the version they keep hidden. The side that wants power, control, status, revenge, dominance. Most people suppress these emotions because society teaches them to. Be nice, be agreeable, be harmless. But suppression doesn't eliminate desire. It hides it. And funk often activates that hidden side. Not because the music is evil, because it gives that side permission to exist. For a few minutes, the listener stops pretending. They stop trying to look good and start feeling powerful. This is why funk edits become so addictive. Luxury cars, dark visuals, slow motion confidence, powerful characters. These videos activate the brain's shadow desires. The desire to be respected, the desire to be feared, the desire to become more than average. And the brain rewards those fantasies with dopamine, a lot of dopamine, which is why one funk edit turns into 10, and 10 turns into 50. Your brain becomes addicted to the feeling, not the music, the feeling. Now here's something most people never realize. Funk doesn't actually make you stronger. It creates the illusion of strength, and that illusion can become dangerous, because confidence without competence is delusion. A person who listens to funk and uses the energy to work improve, train, build discipline, can transform their life. But a person who uses Phonk only to fantasize, only to imagine success, only to feel powerful without taking action, becomes trapped. Their brain starts confusing emotional stimulation with real progress. They feel powerful, but they aren't becoming powerful. And that's a huge difference. The most dangerous drug isn't the one that destroys you. It's the one that convinces you you've already won. This is why some people stay stuck for years. They consume confidence instead of building it. Now let me show you how elite performers use music differently. They don't use music as an escape. They use it as a trigger for a specific state. Athletes do this. Fighters do this. Entrepreneurs do this. The moment the music starts, their brain receives a signal. It's time to perform, not dream. Perform. Over time, the brain creates an association. Music equals action. Music equals focus. Music equals execution. And eventually, the state becomes automatic. This is when music becomes a weapon, not against other people, against your weaker self, against procrastination, against hesitation, against self-doubt. And that's the real secret. Phonk is not powerful because of the sound. It's powerful because of the meaning your brain attaches to the sound. The music becomes a symbol of discipline, a symbol of confidence, a symbol of becoming someone stronger than yesterday. But there is one final psychological effect, and it might be the most important. Identity. Humans don't act according to goals. They act according to identity. You don't wake up and ask, "What should I do today?" You ask, "Who am I?" And then you behave accordingly. Phonk temporarily changes the answer. For a few minutes, you stop identifying as the anxious person, the insecure person, the hesitant person, and start identifying as someone stronger, someone more capable, someone harder to break. And that shift changes behavior. The problem? Most people lose the identity when the music stops. The elite don't. They carry it into reality, into conversations, into work, into training, into life. That's the difference. Anyone can feel powerful while wearing headphones. Very few can remain powerful when the music ends. So the next time a Phonk track starts playing, don't ask yourself how it makes you feel. Ask yourself what part of you it's waking up. Because that answer reveals more about your psychology than the music ever will. And maybe the real power was never inside the song. Maybe it was always inside you, waiting for a trigger, waiting for permission, waiting to wake up. Welcome to Mental Abyss.